The vast alien fleet loomed on the edges of human territory, their ships a sinister armada of sleek, metallic predators poised for what they considered a routine sweep. In the command bridge, alien officers communicated with calm efficiency, their voices laced with arrogance. To them, Earth was merely another weak planet in a quiet sector, its defenses negligible, its people no match for the advanced technology and well-trained forces of the alien empire. The commander, tall and imposing with scales glinting under the dim lights, observed the holographic map. A smug smile tugged at his mouth as he noted Earth's minimal defensive forces scattered across the sector, like ants unaware of the shadow overhead. They rely on relics, the commander sneered, gesturing to a smaller officer. Their fleets are built of rusted metal and outdated reactors. This will be over before they can even react. A ripple of laughter flowed through the officers on the bridge. They had seen the kind before, primitive races, desperate to defend their homes, outclassed and outmaneuvered, swiftly subdued. The humans, they thought, would be no different. He had even heard rumors of attempts to weaponize outdated nuclear reactors, a last attempt at power from a bygone age. As the fleet moved closer to the boundaries of human space, the alien ships sent out a sweeping scan. Almost immediately, a low chime sounded. "Incoming signal, Commander," an officer reported, his voice wavering slightly, though he tried to mask it with confidence. "A broadcast?" The commander glanced at the officer, eyebrows raised, amused that humans dared to communicate, perhaps even beg for mercy. A harsh, calculated voice filled the bridge. "This is human territory. Your presence is not tolerated. Turn back, or face the consequences." The message cut off as quickly as it had started, leaving the alien officers staring at each other in stunned silence. The commander chuckled, his amusement almost genuine. "They want to fight," he muttered. "Then we'll show them the futility of resistance." He ordered the fleet forward, confident this would end swiftly. The starships advanced in tight formation, a testament to the Empire's military discipline. The humans would crumble, he thought, and their cries for mercy would be ignored. Yet, as they crossed into the sector, something unexpected happened. An incoming blip on the radar showed a cluster of human ships, waiting. Not fleeing, not scrambling, but standing, almost taunting them with their audacity. The commander watched with growing interest. These human ships, though sparse in number, held their position with an unusual formation. It was calculated, precise. He shook off the thought. Their confidence was misplaced, a last-ditch show of resistance before annihilation. "Engage," he commanded, waving his hand dismissively. The alien fleet surged forward, weapon systems humming as they locked onto the human ships. Then, in an instant, the battle erupted. Beams of energy tore through the dark, and missiles streaked across the void, lighting up the battlefield. The alien fleet released a barrage, confident in their superior firepower, but they soon found their strikes met with unexpected counters. The human ships didn't falter, they moved with precise, swift maneuvers, evading the alien blasts with a skill that was unexpected. Their formations shifted seamlessly, responding to the alien attacks with agility that the commander found unnerving. These weren't desperate defenders, they were calculated, every movement anticipating the alien maneuvers, as if the humans were toying with their attackers. An officer near the commander reported in an anxious voice, "Commander, our shield generators are reading significant stress. Their tactics, it's almost as if they're—" "Silence," the commander snapped. His patience was wearing thin, but a shadow of doubt crept into his mind. How could humans, using such primitive technology, manage to hold their ground? He pushed it aside. A fluke, he assured himself. They were merely lucky, nothing more. Another strike hit closer to their command ship, and this time the bridge shuddered under the impact. Alarms flashed, and a technician let out a gasp as a console sparked. The commander clenched his jaw, irritation giving way to a spark of something foreign, uncertainty. The humans weren't just fighting back, they were making dents in his fleet's armor, small but undeniable. Their weapons, rudimentary as they might have seemed on paper, were breaking through. A nearby officer was frantically analyzing the data, his eyes wide. "Commander, it appears they're using some form of adaptive targeting. They're anticipating our shield shifts and adjusting their attacks accordingly." The commander's fists clenched. Adaptation? These were humans, supposedly centuries behind them. Yet, as he watched the battlefield unfold, the undeniable reality began to set in. These humans weren't what the intelligence reports had described. They were an entirely different caliber of fighter, each move calculated to counter the Empire's prized technological advantages. For the first time, the bridge grew silent, a growing realization settling over them all. This was no mere clash with a lesser race. They had ventured into human space expecting an easy conquest, but the humans were meeting them with strength and resilience no one had anticipated. And, as the human fleet shifted into another precise formation, one thing became unsettlingly clear to the alien commander: they were far from the only predators in this part of space. The alien fleet halted just outside the human formation, recalibrating their offensive strategy. On board their command ship, tension hung thick as data streamed across consoles, revealing damage reports more severe than anticipated. The commander, visibly perturbed, ordered a rapid assessment. Their initial arrogance had dimmed, replaced with the calculated concern of a force that underestimated its opponent. The human ships before them seemed almost too calm, holding their formation without a hint of fear, as if daring the aliens to advance further. An impatient lieutenant approached, detailing the structural weaknesses and shield vulnerabilities they had just exposed, but the commander waved him off, narrowing his gaze on the display. "Deploy the secondary assault fleet," he ordered. "Let them understand the true might of the Empire." As the smaller ships advanced, armed with specialized weaponry designed to tear through lesser defenses, they fired, sending torrents of energy toward the human formation. Their confidence renewed, the alien officers watched, anticipating the humans to break under this new onslaught. But the human ships didn't scatter or retreat. Instead, they moved in unison, as though guided by a single mind. Within moments, they countered the assault, their response so precisely timed it appeared almost rehearsed. With coordinated fire, they struck back, their weaponry striking in patterns that capitalized on every weakness in the alien advance. The alien commander's brow furrowed. This wasn't the erratic defense he'd expected. The humans seemed to have studied their tactics, exploiting every gap with merciless precision. Explosions rocked through the alien ranks, and panic began to creep into the fleet. Alien officers scrambled to adjust their strategies, shouting into their communicators, but nothing seemed to break the human formation. Every time the aliens attempted a new approach, the humans adapted, intercepting attacks with astounding speed and accuracy. An unsettling realization began to settle in. These humans were not just resisting, they were pushing back with a level of tactical sophistication and coordination that rivaled the Empire's best. A young officer nervously approached the commander, voice shaking. "Sir, their maneuvers, it's almost as if they're predicting our every move." The commander, holding tightly to the edge of his console, gave no response, though his silence spoke volumes. His mind raced through every tactic he'd been trained to use in battle, but each seemed insufficient against this relentless human response. For the first time in his career, he was facing an opponent that wasn't just defending, they were playing offense with deadly efficiency. A new order echoed through the fleet. "Initiate evasive maneuvers, regroup on Quadrant 4. As the alien ships shifted formation, human ships followed, reading their movements with unsettling accuracy, adjusting their positions like a mirror reflecting every action. With a focused, targeted strike, they bypassed several layers of the alien shields, cutting into the heart of the alien fleet with almost surgical precision. This wasn't luck or desperation. It was a demonstration of something the aliens had yet to face: human adaptability. The bridge was tense, officers' hands hovering over controls, waiting for any sign that their fortunes might turn. But every adjustment, every tactic was met with an unyielding human response. Reports flooded in of ships suffering critical damage, pilots ejecting in panic as their vessels were torn apart by what they had assumed would be inferior weapons. On the command bridge, the alien officers exchanged glances, each haunted by the same unspoken thought. These humans weren't just defending their territory, they were strategically dismantling the Empire's pride, piece by piece. Desperation grew. Alien officers whispered among themselves, murmurs of fear spreading as they observed the human ships closing in, their weapons firing with deadly precision. The Empire, known throughout the galaxy for its advanced weaponry and ruthless discipline, was facing an opponent that, against all odds, matched them move for move. Each alien ship lost brought a ripple of panic that reverberated through the ranks. They hadn't come prepared for this. In their arrogance, they had expected an easy victory, only to find themselves cornered by an opponent who seemed to know their every weakness. As the bridge shook from another direct hit, the commander stared, transfixed, at the tactical display. His officers watched him, waiting for commands that never came. He was faced with a terrifying realization: these humans, with their tenacity and ingenuity, weren't just fighting back. They were winning. The alien fleet attempted to regroup, but every attempt was met with human strikes that exposed their weakened lines. Orders bounced frantically across the command channels, alien voices laced with the edge of panic. For the first time in memory, an Empire fleet was losing ground, not to some advanced enemy but to a species they had classified as primitive. The commander ordered a shift in formation, hoping to draw the humans into a trap, but it was as if the humans anticipated every move. Their ships shifted with swift precision, staying one step ahead, hammering at the alien defenses with an unwavering ferocity. Human reinforcements emerged from the darkness of space, joining the formation with seamless coordination. The new arrivals appeared to have weaponry the aliens hadn't accounted for. They were prototypes, seemingly crude at first glance but frighteningly effective. With each blast, alien ships buckled, their shields barely withstanding the sustained assault. Every strike was a brutal reminder that the humans were not only holding their own but beginning to control the battlefield. A broadcast signal echoed across the alien fleet. The voice was calm, controlled. "Leave our territory. You came here uninvited, and now you've seen what happens when humans fight back." The alien bridge fell silent, each officer painfully aware of the mounting losses. Every line of the broadcast felt like a taunt, a chilling reminder that they had underestimated a force they didn't understand. Pride clashed with fear, but the message had an undeniable effect. The aliens began to sense the possibility of true defeat. As the humans pressed forward, the alien commander called for all available defenses. He ordered a barrage of their most advanced weaponry, throwing everything they had into the fray. But the human ships moved with a fluidity that defied every expectation, evading hits that should have been lethal, countering with an accuracy that pierced even the most fortified vessels. Panic spread like wildfire, with officers reporting breaches and emergency evacuations from the decimated ships. One after another, alien vessels were crippled or obliterated, the once mighty fleet reduced to fragments. Inside the alien command ship, the bridge was a cacophony of alarms, lights flashing as critical systems went down. Damage reports from each quadrant showed the reality. The Empire's fleet was being systematically dismantled. The commander's gaze was fixed, desperate to find a weakness in the human lines, a gap he could exploit. But there was none. Every human maneuver was calculated, each shot aimed to cut through his fleet's defenses like a scalpel through armor. Through the haze of battle, the commander could no longer deny the truth. This wasn't some fluke or random alignment of human luck. This was the result of strategy, preparation, and skill, honed to an edge that rivaled, even surpassed, the Empire's own. Humanity had somehow studied their tactics, anticipating their moves, adapting faster than any species the Empire had ever faced. And now, with each passing second, that realization gnawed away at the remnants of the alien fleet's morale. One by one, the aliens' strongest ships faltered, losing power, their shields collapsing under the relentless human attack. The Empire, revered and feared for its unstoppable fleets, had been brought to its knees in the span of a single engagement. The remaining alien ships attempted to withdraw, engines blazing as they tried to escape the wrath of the human forces. But the humans pursued, pressing forward with an intensity that left no room for mercy. Their message was clear: This was more than a simple defense. This was a statement to anyone foolish enough to challenge humanity again. The commander's final order went out, bitter and reluctant. Retreat. The word echoed across the bridge, heavy with defeat. The alien fleet fractured, each surviving ship breaking away from formation, retreating into the depths of space. As the remnants of the alien fleet scattered, a chilling silence fell over the battlefield. Human ships remained in formation, watching as the defeated alien vessels limped away, each one marked with scars from the fight. But there was no pursuit, no final blow. The humans had achieved what they set out to do, the Empire was humbled, and the message had been delivered. A final broadcast came from the human fleet, a voice calm but resonant with unyielding resolve. Remember what happened here. If you return, there will be no mercy. The transmission lingered, reverberating through the alien comms, each word a stark reminder of the consequences of arrogance. In the alien command ship, officers exchanged fearful glances, the reality of their defeat sinking in. This encounter would be etched into their history, a moment when a species they had dismissed as insignificant had turned out to be a formidable force. They now understood that human strength lay not only in their technology but in their sheer determination and willingness to defend their own. The alien commander sat in stunned silence, every attempt at justification fading as he recalled each strike, each calculated maneuver the humans had executed with precision. He could almost feel the weight of their strategy pressing upon him, a constant reminder of the battle's outcome. His officers avoided his gaze, too shaken to even attempt words of consolation. Their legendary fleet, once deemed indomitable, had been shattered by an opponent they thought unworthy of concern. Throughout the alien empire, news of the defeat spread rapidly. Reports from surviving pilots and officers painted a vivid picture of human resilience and tactical genius. Word spread among the soldiers and civilians alike, a mixture of fear and grudging respect building for the species that had not only defended its territory but had done so with a power that matched, and even surpassed, that of the Empire. Legends began to form around the human fleet, tales of their prowess passed along with growing intensity, each version more embellished than the last. Humans, once viewed as a minor race, were now a specter looming over the Empire's pride. The alien High Council convened to discuss the implications of the battle, struggling to come to terms with the threat humanity posed. Council members debated the next steps, some calling for retaliation, others urging caution. But the prevailing sentiment was clear: whatever course they chose, they could no longer ignore humanity. The humans, once mocked for their outdated technology, had forced the Empire into retreat. And the realization dawned: they had no true knowledge of what other capabilities humanity might possess, what other secrets lay waiting in the darkness of their territory. The Empire, humbled and cautious, recalled its forces from human space entirely, pulling back to regroup and reassess. For the first time in centuries, the aliens recognized their own vulnerability, a stark contrast to their usual arrogance. The humans had reminded them of a universal truth they had forgotten: that power alone did not guarantee victory, and underestimating an opponent could be a fatal mistake. In human space, the fleet held position, vigilant yet calm, maintaining their protective formation as the last of the alien ships disappeared into the void. There was no celebration, no grand display of victory. The humans had defended their territory as they always intended, and with the threat now vanquished, they resumed their watchful guard. But they knew this victory would echo across the galaxy, a silent warning to anyone who dared threaten their world again. And so, as the human fleet continued its silent patrol, the galaxy had changed. The Empire, once seen as untouchable, had been brought low by a species they had underestimated. From that day on, humanity would no longer be viewed as a minor player in the galactic arena but as a force capable of shaking even the most established powers. The aliens had learned a costly lesson, one that would resonate for generations, as they would forever remember the moment they had crossed paths with the wrong fleet.